How important are trophies? Are they important at all? Manchester City and Pep in recent years have redefined football within England. They stole all the trophies. They've taken them all. Everything's happened. They've had a treble. And it means that all the smaller trophies, such as the Carabao Cup, have become more important to teams. It also means that we may have to redefine the terminology success within the English game. The other day, Mikel Arteta said that he counts the Community Shield ×2 as trophies on his resume. Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it, went wild. People disagreeing, saying it's a small club mentality to count the Community Shield. And whilst they agree it isn't it isn't a massive trophy, it is counted undeniably in big teams' cabinets as a major honour. Not to mention, to compete in the Community Shield, you do need to win the FA Cup or the Premier League, or come second if, in City's case, they do a treble and win the FA Cup and the Premier League. But truth be told, this has come about when fans constantly bemoan teams who play boring football and don't have a necessary style or a project to get behind. If you play defensive football and it gets you one trophy, but there's no seemingly good project, then fans get disinterested and start asking for the manager to leave. So that means that there must be more than trophies to shout about in football, and trophies might not necessarily be the most important parameter of a good football club. So the question I ask you is, does style of play and the way a football team plays supersede winning trophies? To answer that, we need to do an evaluation of, does success purely mean winning trophies? Is the only end goal in football to win the Premier League? The best example against the only goal being to win trophies is Brighton Football Club. They have gone up and been a breath of fresh air to the Premier League. They play an interesting style. They play a high-tempo attacking brand of football. They constantly evolve the squad. They've sold key assets such as Cucurella and Caicedo. They constantly take unknown talents to the league, like that Enciso. They constantly change the manager for the next up-and-coming thing. They had Graham Potter, obviously then brought in De Zerbi, who was a very attacking coach, and then finally have now settled. And it just seems like they're constantly evolving and getting their best assets pinched or taken off them, but they're revolutionising the way to run a football club to the point that they play attacking football, nice football, competitive in the league, stay up comfortably every season, whilst also developing a different way to run a club. They're built on turnover. Their assets leave, Cucurella, and they successfully remain in the Premier League. Now, they're a breath of fresh air. They play attacking football. Are they a success in the league? Well, of course they are. They've come up from the Championship and been extremely successful, staying in the division, turning over players constantly, posting profits year on year. So I believe, personally, that Brighton are a successful Premier League football club. Does that mean that they are more successful than, for example, Manchester United, who have recently won the FA Cup and Carabao in the last 3 years, over the course of the last 3 years? I would say I'd rather be a Brighton fan than a Manchester United fan, despite the trophies that have been won. Arsenal is another prime example. All you little Twitter fans go, oh, there's only not that many trophies. That means that they are not a big club. Small club mentality. Oh, Arteta needs to win more. Ten Hag won more. Blah, blah, blah. And Arteta joined when Arsenal were 8th in the league, and he rebuilt the club from the ground up. He got rid of the toxicity within the players, big egos such as Aubameyang, Ozil, Mkhitaryan, Mustafi, that type of thing, cut the contracts and started again. He reconnected the club with the fans, building a culture around the club with the non-negotiables of obviously try your hardest, etc., and has given an identity and style of play to the football club again. Not only that, he's made them the second best team in the country, only being pipped closely by City in the last 2 years. So, whilst the major honours haven't followed, Jesse won an FA Cup in his first year with an Emery team, but the major honours haven't yet followed. But you know the quality of them when you start a Champions League season and they're third favourites to win the Champions League. So yes, the trophies haven't come in, the winning mentality hasn't shown as of yet, but they are definitely a success story in the last few years under the Premier League by the amount they've grown as a club, by the style that has been imprinted on the team, and by also the personnel and improvement. When Arteta first took over from an economic standpoint, he didn't really have any players with any sellable assets. Now, Arsenal are the highest valued Premier League team in the world at the present moment in time. They've got sellable assets like Saliba, Saka, Martinelli, not so much recently, Ødegaard, that type of people. And yeah, so that has to be a resounding success from a management standpoint and also a business standpoint. Not only that, the fans are now reconnected. What does that mean? That means that they now enjoy their team playing football. As an Arsenal fan myself, I am so much more happy now watching Arsenal than I was under Unai Emery, even under the first season of Arteta when we won the FA Cup, because I know every week we can go, we've got a style play, we know what to expect, we're going to probably dominate the game, and more times out than not, we're going to win the game. So yes, there's added pressure, but by far, it's a more enjoyable time for the fans alike. So has Arteta been a success at Arsenal? Yes. Has he won trophies? Maybe not. These are some examples of positivity where trophies haven't been won in Brighton and Arsenal, but they are still success stories of the Premier League. Now we're going to go on to an example where there has been trophies won, but hasn't been successful, where the fans don't necessarily get behind the team, where the aura around the club is pretty negative, and you'd say that he was a failure at this football club. Now that is, most recently, Erik ten Hag of Man United. In his 3-year spell, he won the Carabao Cup, and he also won the FA Cup. He may have won a Community Shield, not too sure on that one, but he won 2 trophies anyway, that we know of. And he is widely seen as a failure at Manchester United Football Club. He wasn't seen as a good enough manager, and the reason between that was obviously his poor brand of football, but equally his poor performance in the Premier League. Now, that goes to show that 2 major honours, Carabao Cup, FA Cup, only papered over the cracks. The team wasn't going in a positive direction, the fans couldn't get behind the manager or the team, and therefore the club didn't go with momentum that, say, Arsenal have of late. So yes, he's won more trophies, he's got it over the line more, but you'd still rather be an Arsenal fan over that period, enjoying the football, having a feel-good factor back, being proud of the players week in, week out, than a Man United fan where stability has been, well, it's been unstable at truth. Now Amorim may change that, don't get me wrong, but there's an example of where trophies have occurred and the team hasn't really been classed as a success over that period of time. Now, one thing I do want to also mention is Jose Mourinho. Granted, he was stopped by Daniel Levy from probably winning the Carabao Cup final, as he was obviously sacked just a week before the Carabao Cup final. But the fans didn't like the style of play under Jose, and they've really taken to Ange Postecoglou's attacking play. Now, if the fans are happy with the style and its style over trophies, then I think that is a better place to be in terms of the club. Because at the end of the day, your fans have to be a happy fan base. And if they would rather watch attacking, entertaining football, they know what they're going to get. They're going to be proud of the team week in, week out. I think that is more important than ultimate success in terms of trophies. This would point to the fact that style and process is more important in football, as football is an entertainment sport. As an Arsenal fan, of course, I would like to win things. But I can say from experience, I am much happier now than when Unai Emery was conceding 31 shots to Watford, for example. When you're a well-run football club and you know what to expect, you feel confident in them to make the right decisions. And eventually, if you start doing things correctly, consistently, you'll have that stability, which will lead to further success. So Arsenal are on the precipice of winning a major honour. It might not happen this season, might not happen next season, but if we continue in the way we're going, do not lose faith in the manager and trust the process, eventually we will get a major honour. Same for Brighton. They're in a positive mindset, they're one of the better teams in the Premier League. Stick to the plan, stick to the objective. You might go down a few positions this season, they might go up a few next season. Form is temporary, but if they do the right things correctly, consistently, they will eventually pick up maybe even a Carabao Cup. So that's the truth. Despite online opinion, success is not purely defined by trophies. They are the carrot on the cake, so to speak, for all top teams to show in the record books when their careers end or when the tenure of a manager ends. That said, it's the same debate for a world-class talent. If you're one of the best in the world, do you have to win trophies? Harry Kane is defined as probably the top 2 striker in the world over the last, 8 years? and he has never won a major honour. Does that mean he's not world class? Obviously not. Individualism doesn't count for a team sport, but equally, a team sport doesn't mean you're not a great team. Does that make sense? Simply put, trophies are not the actual definition of success. The feel-good factor, the enjoyment, and the process are far more important. If fans get behind the team and the fans are happy, then that's all that matters. Look at the progress of Brighton. Not only Brighton, Brentford have made. I think that their fans would be more happy than if they had won like an FA Cup when Wigan went down and got relegated. You'd much rather be a stable club run properly than not so. And these examples, such as Brighton, Brentford, are definitely more happy than, say, West Ham, who haven't got a significant style, didn't ever play attacking football, sacked the manager David Moyes, got Lopetegui, he's also not that good, but they did win a European Conference League. Who's the happier fan base over the last 3 years? It's night and day, isn't it, really? Brentford and Brighton are miles happier fans than West Ham. That said, I believe major honours are what every club should aim for, but they have to do it in the right way, and that's where trophies do become important. The record books only show the winners, and in years to come, your legacy will be defined by what you've won. So right now, in terms of the process is more exciting for the fans, without a shadow of a doubt. But it's very hard to know if teams of opposition will respect that sort of group of players. For example, Brendan's Liverpool was a great time when they nearly won the league, when Gerrard slipped. For Liverpool fans, they loved the style of play and they remember it fondly now. But do other teams really care for that Liverpool team? No, because they didn't prove and earn that respect by winning a trophy. So, ultimately, the end goal is a trophy, but what defines success is more than that. What defines success is bringing fans on side. What defines success is enjoying the football that a team plays. And I think it's simple as that. Everything has to be built in a positive way. Everything has to be built in a way that the fans can identify with, and everything has to be built in a successful way. Thank you for watching. As always, if you like this video, please be sure to like and subscribe. Comment on what you believe true success is for a football club, and if you believe the process is more important than the trophies. At the end of the day, say this Arteta ride, right? Say we win a trophy this season and he leaves to Barcelona. We'd have had a great 5 years where we've enjoyed the football, we've become really, really close, won most weeks, which makes you happy. The trophy will be the icing on the cake, and you'll enjoy it for weeks, maybe even till the new season starts. But ultimately, if he was to leave at the end of that period, we'd then be on a new process. There's no guarantee that we'd win or even be as good next season, and therefore you've got to enjoy the good times while they're good and enjoy the bad times while they're bad. Yeah? No, don't enjoy the bad times while they're bad. But you know what I'm trying to say. Keeping the feel-good factor around the club means a lot, especially to fans, and that is the main aim. Again, thank you for watching. Please be sure to like and subscribe. Goodbye.